So here, as Danish mentioned, that mobile is only a platform. So you can also have social media marketing on mobile. It's only going to be a platform. So we're going to be talking about, again, a similar format, give you some statistics on what's happening in mobile marketing, more so in the emerging market context. For a very simple reason that we see that mobile is our first screen. Our second screen is, you may tell me what is it? Computer screen, and then finally it's our television. But it's actually the reverse in America. The first screen is actually probably your desktop or your television, and the third screen is mobile. Be it in our classrooms or be it not only just the MBA classrooms, today even in schools, kids carry mobile phones. They are in 5th grade or 6th grade and they actually desire to have an Apple iPhone 5 or an Android phone. Teachers actually WhatsApp assignments to students, right? So this is the trend that we are seeing. So now we're just going to focus a little bit on mobile, both from the global as well as Indian perspective. 2002 was the year, the historic year where mobile phones surpassed landlines. You can actually, yeah, sure. So 2002 you saw that mobile surpassed landlines. In 2012, in India, and in fact there are only 2 countries, India and Turkey, where mobile internet traffic has actually surpassed the desktop internet traffic. Again, very interesting, as we know in our context, mobile is the first screen. The growing numbers for mobiles, Danish already mentioned in the beginning, was for very simple reasons which are very, very obvious, is that there is a splurge of mobile phones, or smartphones more so. You have seen brands like Lava, Micromax, Carbon coming in with such reasonable or affordable prices that even the middle class society can actually buy them at throwaway prices. Cheap calling rates, and look at our 3G subscription rates. You can actually get a 3G connection for what? Like $1.50 compared to what 3G plans are there in developed context. Globally also, if you compare across different countries, you see India is actually having a year-on-year growth of about 841% in terms of 3G subscriptions. So here we are.
And just to complement, here are some interesting numbers from the US market. And what we see there, one of the most interesting things, in addition to what you can read here, is that although mobile expenditure is still small relative to TV ads, which by the way is the largest component of any marketing budget across firms. Okay, print ads are now smaller than online ads. Okay, and print is a dying medium in the United States. Okay, but when it comes to
add
TV,
to that, I think Wikipedia has already stopped. Britannica has already stopped its print.
Yes, print version.
Last year.
Where I live, okay, my house is the only house in the lane where I live in where I get a physical newspaper. Call me old-fashioned or whatever, but I just, one of the mornings I was going and picking up the newspaper, and my neighbor was walking his dog, and he saw me and he's like, "What's there? Is that the newspaper?" And I said, "Yes." And then I started walking back, and then he stopped me back and he said, "So what course do you teach at Georgia State?" I said, "Digital social media." He said, "Okay, all right. Have a nice day." All right, so the interesting thing that is there in US right now, which I want to highlight, is that right now there is a big disconnect between mobile adoption, okay, and the ad dollars. So adoption by consumers and adoption by firms. There's a disconnect between the two. Consumers are using mobile at a much faster rate than what companies are advertising on mobile platforms. And what do you think would happen as a consequence of something like this? What do you think would happen? Into ad rates, advertisement rates on mobile phones, they get pushed down, right? So advertisement rates right now on mobile platforms in US are lower. They are artificially suppressed just because there are too many consumers. So your cost per impression kind of goes down, right? And another interesting thing is that the biggest component of mobile marketing that's being allocated, at least in the US market, goes to search. Okay, and the reason we are showing this is because usually things like this, it basically finally trickles down to Asian and other emerging markets, right? So whatever we are seeing here it will sooner or later come over here, right? So 50% of US mobile ad spending goes towards search ads, okay? 95% of that basically Google, okay? It's a very powerful, influential player. In the US, Google basically has what is known as the triple crown. They're #1 in search ads, #1 in display ads, and #1 in mobile ads. Okay, so they have the triple crown in digital marketing, right? Here are some of the industries where mobile ad rates tend to be higher than traditional online ads. Okay, so because these industries are extremely competitive and they advertise a lot when it comes to mobile marketing. And then there are several success stories like this, which basically talk about the fact that click-through rates on mobile platforms are traditionally higher than online platforms. Now, I and a lot of analysts on Wall Street take this with a lot of pinch of salt, or sometimes a fistful of salt, for the simple reason that click-through rate is not, everybody knows what a click-through rate is, right? Click-through rate is not a great metric because on a mobile screen, right, you could be having fat fingers and accidentally clicking on an advertisement doesn't mean that you actually want to go there, right? In fact, the statistics from Forrester research showed that consumers in general find mobile ads very annoying, okay? And 67 find them more annoying than TV ads, okay? Because they have this notion, you know, they have this tendency of being disruptive, right? So the general tendency, and there was a nice article by Sunil Gupta that came in the Harvard Business Review, is that firms are better off to move away from mobile ads and go towards mobile apps. Because when you have mobile apps, you can actually even position it as a value proposition to your consumers and not just simple pushing of messages. Right, so here are some great examples of mobile apps. So Home Depot found out that one of the reasons, you know, typically when you are walking out of the store, they ask you that, did you find everything all right? And Home Depot is a big home improvement store. They stock millions of SKUs, stock keeping units, you know, different items. And they found out that one of the reasons why that people walk out is that they don't find the item in the store. Okay, so they have this app where the entire layout of the store is basically downloaded on your mobile phone, and if you do a search, it will tell you in which aisle to find that item. Okay. Similarly, Walmart has a similar app that they've been testing, and then Walgreens has developed an app that gives you information with respect to prescription and things like that. Banks now have apps like Bank of America where you just click a picture of your check and then you can deposit it immediately. Right from your mobile phone or a mobile device. It could even be your iPad or a tablet. So the point is here is that, and there are countless examples like this, is that by positioning and having a mobile app, not only you have complete visibility of your customer, what they are doing, but then you can use that to once in a while push promotion messages, and that seems to be resonating well. Okay.
So in a similar context in India, in fact, mobile marketing, the ad spend in mobile marketing has been increasing at a very fast pace. But an important point to note here is, we don't generally have rich ad text in India. But we end up spending a lot on the applications that we are building, similar things. So if you're actually an Airtel subscriber, Airtel cellular service subscriber, you will get some default apps given by the service provider, like Reviews 42, which gives you a comparison across different e-commerce websites on a particular product, comparisons across reviews as well as price points. These are some numbers that we've put here in terms of just the social media app downloads on different platforms like Apple and Android. In India, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, BlackBerry, BBM messaging being the most commonly downloaded. In fact, if you also look at the rankings of these apps, you'll find some sort of a similarity between the US and Indian context, saying which are the most commonly downloaded social media apps, which varies with other emerging markets like China and Japan for a very specific reason, the language differences. If you look at the spends, what I was talking about in mobile marketing, in 2012, the total mobile marketing spend was about 180 crores. And it was expected to grow to about 250 crores in 2013, but it actually ended up being about 300 crores. So this is according to the Mobile Marketing Association report, which works in collaboration with Exchange for Media. This is the kind of growth that we are expecting. But a bigger question in mobile is about the dark social. So WhatsApp being a social app, but how many brand managers have access to it? For a very simple reason that you don't want an advertisement in your social space or a private space. So that's what also Danish was mentioning that. The bigger question for brand managers is, if I'm building applications, how am I going to monetize these applications? So they're looking for more help from academicians in this front, because I've been working with a few startups who build apps. But again, the question is, how do you monetize this? So I've just put down some points here. These numbers I've already discussed. In terms of apps, the bigger question is, how do you actually work on the analytics in terms of cost of acquiring people getting to download your app? More so, what is the customer lifetime value? What is the organic virality coefficient, saying if I download a particular app, I like it, I go and tell 7 other people that why don't you just download this app, it is very, very helpful. In the gaming industry, specifically on the mobile platform, there has been some kind of an understanding saying you can categorize your users into, whales, dolphins, and minnows. Now, what are whales? The ones who spend most money, about $20 a month in the US context. Dolphins spend about $5 a month, and minnows are the guys who don't want to spend. They will probably not buy in-app features and things like those. About 10% of your consumers would fall in the first category, about 40 in the dolphin category, and the rest 50 would be in the minnows category. Can we do something here and extend this kind of an understanding of users in the mobile marketing platform, saying how can we categorize the users there? Customer engagement again. How do we actually have metrics that help us understand customer engagement in terms of your DAU, that is daily active users, weekly active users, monthly active users? Even if they are active users, what is their session length of spending time on their mobile phones and so on? So we need more definite metrics here. Retention rate and also average revenue per user that you can actually gain. If you look at social media, coming to a conclusion, if you look at social media, you can actually categorize various areas in social media research into SMAC, what we refer to as social media analytics and cloud. But particularly if you're looking at digital and social media here, you can categorize it into 3 main mantras that brand managers want to do on the digital marketing front. First of all, they need to get found, where you have a lot of work which has already been done in SEOs, SEMs, social media and blogs. But you also see that the issue that we are finding here, especially, or seeing here in the emerging markets, is how do you convert that initial interaction that you're having with consumers? So Dinesh already mentioned certain examples of YouTube, saying you have 3 million clicks, 3 million views in a day. For example, Doom 3, before the release, they put up a trailer, and within a day they had 3 million views. But how does Doom 3 use that? As of now, they just use it as a content, a PR content in their offline media. They feed that information, and the print media talks about it, saying, they got these many views. But how are they able to convert that? Or even if they're able to convert that, are they able to measure that? That is an important question. And then some more research, which is definitely required in the area of web analytics, social analytics, blog analytics, and metrics and measurement. I'm just summarizing metrics and measurement, where we talk about cost per milieu for cost per thousand, cost per click, cost per acquisition, cost per engagement. We need more definite metrics to measure these kind of things. And how do they help bringing ROI to the firms, to the brand managers? Planning the digital media objectives and budgeting. Consumer behavior and user-generated content, saying, especially in the mobile platform, see, these questions might be very similar in social media across different platforms. Maybe, your desktops, laptops, and mobile phones. But specifically in mobile marketing, here it's more of user-generated content also most of the time. So who is controlling that content? That is also becoming a policy question. In fact, we wanted to put this also for information that some of the societies, market societies, as well as research papers, research journals have called for special proposals on this area. So if you're working in that domain or planning to work in that domain, you can keep some deadlines in mind. The Marketing Society of India has given a priority on mobile platforms and their impact on how people's lives are getting affected by that and how markets are changing, particularly in the context of B2B applications. So we see that happening, the use of WhatsApp, for example, is happening a lot in the Indian context in B2B applications. Even B2C, we see a lot of companies using WhatsApp as a tool for marketing or consumer engagement. customer engagement. How many of you have heard of the brand Fasos? It's there in Bombay. I'm not sure about in other cities. It's just a brand of, it's a fast food brand. They actually take orders on WhatsApp. Domino's is going to start that. You know, earlier you would at least have to go onto the internet, go onto their website, put your order there, but now you can just WhatsApp them and you get your order within the next 20-25 minutes. So looking at mobile marketing in the B2B applications context, also what happens with mobile is you have a lot of data which is available, but how do you make sense of that data and structure that data? That becomes very, very interesting. And Dennis already mentioned about the multi-channel effects on sales and so on. Also, the International Journal for Research and Marketing has called for a special, it's going to have a special issue. The deadline is April 2014, but they're talking about the path to digital conversion. So this is where we are. We wind up 4 minutes early. If you have any questions, we would actually want to open the platform more for discussion. If you have any clarifications, yes, otherwise we can also share your thoughts and opinions.